Number one, Las Vegas, Nevada. Las Vegas has driven up significantly over the last few years. They have so much investment happening. In fact, Vinny Chopra is buying a hotel right across from the MGM as we speak. He talked about it on Thursday on that call. He is buying a hotel right across from the MGM, right across from the new stadium that they're putting billions of dollars into. And his hotel is expected to make a ridiculous return on investment. They just literally demolished the Hooters and the Tropicana hotel that were there, and his hotel is right next door to where they're going to be doing these new developments. Vegas, the whole strip is being redefined. They're putting a ton of money into it, but also the suburbs are pumping up. You got Henderson, which is an older community, which is now starting to reinvest in itself. Then you got the north side of Vegas, which has always been kind of the ghetto, is starting to reinvent itself. Then you got the left side of Vegas, the north west side, which is really starting to pump up. I lived out in Vegas for a little while, and I remember thinking, wow, you could buy 4-bedroom houses for $150,000 a piece. Those same houses are now selling for $550,000. And I kind of wish I bought everything while I was out there. Show fan, if you missed a few opportunities in your lifetime. Yes. Okay. Vegas, number one. It is the most volatile of the large metro areas, still beneficial for quick flips. Average median price is $420,000 for a single family home, and it has high price swings with rapid demand shifts. That market moves very quickly. Phoenix, Arizona. It's got fast appreciation. It is susceptible to drops, but year-round construction, and it is still a hot market. There's a ton of development still happening in Phoenix. Atlanta, Georgia, number three. It's got rapid growth and fluctuating inventory. So its inventory does fluctuate a little bit more than Raleigh, North Carolina, which we'll talk about next. It has a strong job market demand, and is also the home of an airport that is a hub that gets to a lot of other markets. So a lot of businesses start up in Georgia because of easy access to other places that they operate in. Raleigh, North Carolina, a lot of the same reasons. Raleigh has got very close to Charlotte, very close to the airport, and that airport is considered a hub. In fact, if you fly pretty much anywhere on the East Coast, you're either going into Atlanta or you're going into one of the North Carolina's airports. These are strong job markets, both of them strong job markets, and North Carolina's Raleigh specifically is tech driven, and it still has short days on demand, so less days on demand than some of the other markets. And its population continues to grow, and it is not prepared for it. Average median price on all of them. I'll do Vegas is 420, Phoenix is 450, Atlanta 420, Raleigh 435, and then Denver, Colorado 500,000.
Walter, can I interrupt you just a little bit?
Talk to me.
Having been born in Raleigh, it's pronounced Raleigh, not Raleigh. Thank you.
Well, they should go look at the English language, and they should correct how they're pronouncing it in
Raleigh. Named
Raleigh.
after Sir Walter Raleigh, who was from England, where the Raleigh doesn't even come out of their mouths.
Let's give Gary a round of applause. Thank you. I don't know if I'm going to fix or correct that anytime soon, but I'll pronounce Raleigh this one time correctly. Denver, Colorado, fifth on the list. High demand and sharp price corrections. So on the positive side, there's a lot of demand there. But on the negative side, they are shifting how the prices are very quickly. So flippers are moving faster there. Average price 500,000. Active buyer pool continues to grow, and there are quick sales happening in Denver. It is a hot market. None of these are great for rentals because of all the reasons that make them great for flipping. Would it be valuable if I drop that in the chat? Let me see if I can. There you go. There are the stats. I can actually get you a screenshot. I'll put it in the chat for you real quick. Maybe I won't get it in there. It may not allow it. Well, you'll have to work with what we got then. Yep, that's not going to work. I'll save it. I'll drop it in as a PDF. Now, as we're going forward, we have decisions to make as investors. Am I a flip investor? Am I looking for quick cash, or am I a long-term hold investor? Am I looking for different things like depreciation, leverage? Am I looking for amortizing the loan, letting other people pay down my mortgage? Am I looking for cash flow? Am I looking for just money to come in consistently And am I looking for a long-term capital gain tax that I pay when I sell versus the income tax that we sell as rehabbers? Rehabbers typically pay on average a 28 to 35% tax, which means every third flip they do is for free. Free. They did it for Uncle Sam. They did it for the team. They did it for the roads. They did it for the school system, but they didn't do it to make money. Who here knows some flippers who've been working one third of their life for free for Uncle Sam? Yes. So if you do the math on that, that means every third year you worked a whole year for free. That was a year you could have taken off if you're a real estate investor. A true real estate investor. By the way, I know a lot of rehabbers who call themselves real estate investors. That's not true. Those are just contractors who happen to own the property. A real estate investor is somebody who invests in real estate. And the definition of an investment is something that you hold for long-term appreciation and for cash flow or dividends or profits. Show of hands, we understand the definition of investment is not buy, quick, sell. That's the definition of trading. In fact, even in the stock market, they don't consider day traders investors. They consider them traders. They consider people who hold an investment for the long term an investor. And so the tax code benefits us. Now, on the multifamily side, and even in the long-term hold side, let's just call it rental side, all form of rental, there's a lot of benefits. And of the benefits that stick out to me the most, it is not paying taxes to the government. Now, I love paying the taxes that I have to pay, like city tax, because that does actually go to the city roads, does actually go to the local school system and municipalities. I don't even mind paying water, which is, to me, a tax on the property, on existing the building. I don't mind paying taxes for my staff. If I have staff that are employees, then sure, I'm paying for their future benefits that they'll get one day for having been staff. But I don't like paying the federal government tax on something that they don't want to actually tax me on. Now, let me show you this differently. The federal government doesn't like to tax you. They don't want to tax you. The only reason they tax you is because you're not investing inside the infrastructure of the government. Things like housing and building businesses are not taxed entities. They don't tax businesses or real estate investors, true investors, the same way they tax everybody else. Let me explain it simply. If you take your money out of the system, it means you get a paycheck, the government taxes that. True or true? Well, let's imagine the government is sitting there doing something called social economics, where they want good behavior to happen, and so they give you incentives for that, programs, benefits, grants, or they remove pain points from you, let's call it taxation. So if you do good behavior, the government doesn't tax you and they even incentivize you. And if you do what they refer to as bad behavior, they will implement rules or they will take away benefits. Who here's noticed that every time you do a flip, you get taxed for doing that? They tax you on income grossly. Yes. So let's say take money out of the system is taxed. Leaving money in the system. Who's noticed they do not tax you on a loan? If you take a loan out, there's no tax implications on that. Show of hands who know this. If you didn't know this, anytime you borrow money, there is absolutely no tax implication except for who pays tax. The lender pays tax on interest because a lender is taking income from that interest. So that interest is actually a taxable event for the lender, and they give you a little piece of that money back. Has anybody ever gotten a 1098 from their banks and gotten a little return on their money? Yeah, a little tax benefit, right? So they're saying to you, borrow money. When you go and invest in real estate, when you spend your money as a down payment on real estate, there is no sales tax or purchase tax. Who's noticed that? No purchase tax on buying real estate. There's no sale, there's no like, hey, we're taxing you for buying this. But there is tax, not on T, but there is tax on, let's say, the car you bought. That's supposedly an asset, right? Supposedly an investment. Who's noticed you pay taxes when you purchase a vehicle? You pay taxes when you buy a plane ticket. You pay taxes when you pay a hotel. You pay taxes when you go to eat food and they serve it to you. There's a service tax. There's a service fee tax for everything that you spend your money on that is not an investment. So the government it's called social economics, where they tax you for things they don't want you to do, and they don't tax for things that they do want you to do. In fact, they even incentivize you to go do those things. They don't tax you on borrowing money. Write that down. You're not taxed on borrowing money, and you're not taxed on buying real estate. But pretty much everything else you buy or get paid through is a taxable event. They also will benefit you for holding real estate. Depreciation gains, depreciation tax, depreciation gain is something that the government actually takes away the cost of tax for you. So if a building is $1 million, it gets depreciated 27 and a half years, which means every year you get to take down from that building a $27,500 of taxable income. They're taking away. So if you made, let's call it $100,000, the government only sees you having earned $73,000, $72,500. Who here likes that? That's the government saying, do more of this. You know what? You paid us a little bit of income tax over there. We're not gonna give you a little bonus back because you're investing in the infrastructure of this country. Business owners, where my business owners at? Show of hands for your business owner. Excellent business owners. When you go and spend money on expenses, on true expenses, let's call it the meal that you had that was out for a client. Let's call it the suit that you acquired. Let's call it your vehicle or the mileage on your vehicle, a percentage of your house. There's another one. There's the tax for all the money we spend on education, all the money we spend on flights, on hotels, the money that is spent on paperwork and inventory and legal fees. Show of hands if that's all a tax write-off for us. Because what is the government saying there? Social economics is saying, good job. Keep investing in your business. We'll take the taxes off of that. We're not going to show that as revenue because that was an expense. That's an approved expense for the federal government. Now, I didn't mean to go into a whole tax code conversation, but show of hands if that was valuable for you. I want you to write one more thing down. The rich never buy what they can lease. They never lease what they can borrow. I'm sorry, they never lease what they can rent. And they never rent what they can borrow. I'll say it one more time. The rich never buy what they can lease. They never lease what they can rent. And they never rent what they can borrow. And the philosophy behind that is when we buy things, we pay taxes. When we lease them, somebody else has to collect an income, they pay taxes on that. When we rent something, we get eventual ownership of it, or we have the temporary use of it only for a shorter period of time, not the length of a lease. And when we borrow something, there is absolutely no cost to borrowing a thing. Show of hands if you could implement this in your life today and probably save some money.